Yo, what's going on YouTube? This is your boy Kamen Zero Spike back again once again today, people. Today we're here for Bakuage Sentai Boonboomger episode 19, and this episode was a nice one. We got a very long mecha fight in this episode as well. Probably the longest mech fight we've had in the series so far, and I did like the concept behind it and like what they were doing in it, but it was the longest one. I'm not saying that's a bad thing, but I'm just saying it definitely was the longest. Definitely was like the longest mech fight we've had in the series thus far. But no Cannonborg in this episode, like at all. Like he wasn't even here. He was mentioned, but Cannonborg was not in this episode at all. So what homeboy got scheming in the background? I wonder what he's got going on. But in this episode, we see that the monster of the week for this episode is a ATM monster, and his power is that if he slaps you with like it looked like basically the money looked like Hashirarsen like money, like that's what it looked like. And basically if he hits you with it, your body gets basically weighed down, right? And from however much money you have on you currently or anything like that, yeah, that's how much money is gonna be like holding you down to the ground. And it was actually pretty funny in this episode too, from them saying that, hey Taya, you should get out of here. Hey Taya, you should get out of here, because if one of those things hit you and the weight comes down on you, you might be, you might die. So Taya was like, all right, cool. So he gets out of there, he books it, and the rest of the Rangers take on the monster themselves. But we did see how Sakito was able to catch on to what the IPC wanted to do, or what the Boonboomger wanted to do, basically saying that he said, hey, you guys just want to butter me up and make me part of the team and be all friendly to me so you can squeeze a bunch of intel out of me for all the Hashiraras and stuff, right? And he was like, yeah, I know what y'all up to. And then like Taya's like, nah man, I ain't trying, he's like, no, we're not trying to do that at all. And then Saiba is like, I mean, I'm kind of trying to do that. Like her facial expression is, I'm kind of trying to do that, And he's like, yeah. He's like, well, ever since the whole like Hashirarsen has gypped us and stuff, me and BND have been pretty broke as a joke. I was like, yo, I didn't know that saying was in Japan. I didn't know that was a universal saying. I didn't know, Japanese people said that, but it's actually pretty cool. Like, yes, to hear them say that. But yeah, so when they ended up creating the monster, it ended up going around taking people down and stuff like that. And we did see how we get some more backstory between Boondario and BND, talking about a race they had on the Milky Way. And basically Boondario was winning. Yeah, Boonboom was winning, but there was two ways to go about the whole thing. It was two ways. You could either go the other way, which was like a ramp so you can get like a speed boost, or another way was basically the safe route. And Boondario I know I was switching between Boonboom and Boondario, but they're the same person, so yeah, whatever. So he decides to go the safe route, and that's when Diesel, he comes in and uses the ramp and ends up jetting past Boondario, and he ends up winning that race. And then that was like a race that like messed up Boonboom a lot. Like it was something that it was like a thing that he couldn't let go, because he could have won if he just hadn't chickened out. He could have won that race if he hadn't chickened out, but it was just something about that race that he hated about it and how it made himself feel. But BND is like, hey man, that race is like ancient history, like let it go. Like for real, like leave that in the past. Like he's like, nah, I can't, I'm not letting it go, man. It hurt, I should have did it, I let victory slip between my grasp. Like that's how basically what he said. So we did see like how when the monster was attacking, it ended up attacking a bunch of people, and then that's when the Boonboomger go in and save these people. And when they save the people, they end up fighting the monster themselves and stuff. And we actually see that's when they send Taya off to go back to the base, and he gets back there fast. I mean, like he came back in the car, de-hensioned and everything. Like he just came in and sat there on the couch. Like, and the rest of our Fire Rangers end up taking on the monster. But we do see how Blue and how Sashiro and Sakito are like really not getting along. Like Sashiro really doesn't like Sakito's attitude about stuff that's going on, about like how he speaks and talks and stuff like that. And we see that he's not much of a team player. Like he kind of messes up the roll call. He kind of messes up like the team formation, team pose thing. He kind of messes up some combo attacks. Like he's just not really like a team kind of like player guy. He's not really like, he's kind of getting in their way, but they rectify it, stuff like that. And we see that when the ATM monster tried to use his power on them, it ended up hurting Mira. But when you have like the money on your face, you can't take it off. It's really hard, but you can't take it off, which they did with Mira and a couple of civilians. But he ended up using the attack, and then Sashiro basically took the lead in this fight and actually he said, hey, everybody hide behind Joe. And so everybody basically gets in a line and hides behind Joe, and then Joe gets hit by all the money, but the money does not weigh him down, because Sashiro basically says that, hey, Joe just bought a bunch of gym equipment. Joe just bought a bunch of gym equipment, so he ain't got no money. And then like Joe's like, wait a minute, how do you know that? So how do you know that I did that? And then Sashiro's like, I'm an info broker. Why would I not know that? So they ended up doing that, and they ended up fighting the monster. They ended up fighting the monster, and they did end up defeating the monster in its like small form, which it was everybody else without Taya and stuff like that. It was like, yeah, cool. And then that's when we get our mech fight. When we get our mech fight, we see that's when Boondario and Boon Diesel actually take this monster on, and he ends up using the paper. We see Boon Diesel's jet mode, his flight mode, which is really cool. And he's using that, and he's fighting the monster and stuff like that. But he ends up shooting some of the. He pretends to have a money jam, and they're like, all right, cool, we can hit him now. And then he ends up faking them out and shooting them with a bunch of money, and that's when Diesel actually gets weighed down, and he's like, wait a minute. Why? He's like, wait, I don't have, like, Sakito's like, wait a minute, I don't have any money. Why are we getting weighed down? And then Diesel's like, maybe it's because of my nest egg. I have a bunch of money saved up. And then like Sakito's like, why am I just hearing about this now? We've been walking around here broke, trying to get something to eat, and you sit up telling me that you got money saved up you could have been using to help us and feed us, you jerk. But yeah, so we end up seeing that Boondario ends up going over as saving Boon Diesel, and Boon Diesel can't move, so he decides to give Boondario his wings. He ends up giving him his wings, and when he uses these wings to end up fighting the monster itself, that's when Taya comes in and basically decides to like teleport himself inside of their their flight mode. And when they get hit with the money, they get shot by some money. When they get hit by the money, they start getting weighed down, but they start getting weighed down like fast, like faster and faster and faster. And that's when Taya ends up making Boondario use the sword, basically use their drill sword. And while Boondario's falling, he uses the sword attack and cuts the monster in half. And yeah, that's how we end up defeating the monster. And that's when everybody basically goes back. There's like a special festival thing going on based off of like a woman and a man. It's like a Japanese like culture, Japanese festival tradition type thing. And basically you put your wishes on the tree, basically put your wishes on this small tree. And after they defeat the monster, everybody goes back to do that, goes back to the the whole putting the wishes on the tree thing and stuff like that. And our episode basically ends off right there. It was basically ends up right there with everybody making their wishes and stuff like that. And we see that Sakito and Boon Diesel finally got added to the ending credit dance. It's just that they're not in the thing with them. They're like in a CGI bubble that's like flying around the whole scene while they're doing the same dance as everybody else is doing, which was like weird to me. Why you just put the guys in the room and then just put Diesel right next to Bundario, man? They best friends. It shouldn't matter. But yeah, this episode was like, it was just filler. It was just a filler episode. No progressing like really the plot like that, unless you want to talk about, you know, more Boom Boom and Boom Boom and Bondar and Beyond Diesel. Oh my god, I'm sleepy. I'm sorry. It's really late at night. But yeah, like, unless you want to talk about the backstory between those two and, you know, the race they had and stuff like that, it's not really any plot pushing things going on right now, you know. And I also kind of think it's kind of, you know, quick that you know, Sakito kind of figured out like, oh, these guys are probably only bringing me into the base and stuff like that so they can get intel about the Hashirasons about me and stuff like that. And he never like alluded to like knowing that, and I feel like he like never really alluded to like knowing anything like that, but he was able to deduce like, yeah, there's no way these people are being nice to me for free. They want something out of me. So yeah, and also unless he's been spying on Saiba and getting information on her and figuring out that, you know, she wants him to do this thing where she wants him to tell them about the Hashirasons and all that stuff. So maybe, I don't know if he overheard what she was saying on the phone and stuff like that. Maybe. I mean, that's pretty unlikely, but at the same time, it's like, yeah, like, bro's like, no, I'm not gonna tell y'all nothing right now because I don't remember nothing right now, but I'm gonna keep eating this curry, and, you know, but if I remember something, I'll fill you in on everything, you know. I'm like, Sashido, you smug piece. Like, it was just, Sashido is not liking Sakito. And I did love how Sashido took the lead. Like, he's done it before, but he took the whole lead in the fight and basically just became the second red. You know, Blue a lot of the times is second in command of any team, of some Sentai teams. I'm not gonna say it's true for all of them, but yeah, this episode was fine. It was just, you know, filler, not really progressing like main plot like that. Still don't know why Ty is mega rich. Still don't know why. Is he a scammer? Is his family money? Like, what's going on? Why do you have all this money? Are you like a really big YouTuber and TikToker for that to be happening? Because Ty just got bread. My boy owns an entire freaking bar. Like, that was one that was killing me. But other than that, I'm rambling. I'm gonna see you guys next time. Make sure to like, share, subscribe. To let me know everything you thought about this episode down in the comment section below, and I'm gonna see you guys next time. Make sure to like, share, subscribe. I already said that, and remember, as I always say, stay Kenshined.